What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Club and Country. This is episode number 98, and we start today's episode off with an international management offer, but sadly, obviously, it's not from Spain, it comes from Paraguay, and of course, we say no. And we also have a scouting update as well from our scout, currently based in Spain. As you can see, fake Felipe Marcano is still there, and I'm still not sure if I'll sign with my academy or not. We'll have to wait and see. But even so, I've got to be honest, like a couple of the players he has picked up have looked okay. But I don't know whether we're ever going to get a really world-class youth player coming through our academy through these scouting updates now that we'll be able to develop for the long-time future. Long-term future? Long-time future? The future. And there you go. But still, we enter January in today's episode. Yay, we enter January. We have a useful monthly report here. We reject some of these players, or release some of these players, I should say, into the wild, as they're not going to make it into the first team, sadly. And yeah, we've entered January now, which is fantastic. And of course, you'll see a squad report, the league table as well. And to be honest, I mean, I'm really hopeful of one decent deal in January. Now I know that obviously you can tell by the title someone's going to come in today, but I'd certainly hope for one more signing too, because the money we have with Racing Santander is actually pretty decent right now. If you remember, in the summer transfer window, we intentionally left a bit of money left over so we could work with it in January. And of course, due to qualifying for the knockout stage in the Champions League, we've also got a little bit of money for that as well. And we can request some funds, and one or two people might be leaving the club in this transfer window too. So I'm hopeful of pulling off one decent signing and maybe another one as well. But we'll have to wait and see. Still, here's a look at the squad report. You can see how the players are currently doing, what attributes they are increasing in, and so on and so forth. And you'll also see a look at the league table as well. In all honesty, this season really has been a bit up and down. I mean, in terms of our expectations, we were really relieved to be going through to the Champions League knockout stages. That was a huge aim for us. Copa del Rey, we're of course still in that tournament. But as for the league, we've fallen off the pace a little bit. Of course, our last game was a loss away at Atletico Madrid. We are 5 points behind Barcelona halfway through the season. Now, that's not bad. I do take the point that's not bad. And of course, when you think about where we were with Racing Santander just a few years ago, starting the series off, that's pretty impressive, right? But I guess this year, I really did want us to be challenging for the title. And of course, 5 points isn't a massive margin or anything, but I don't know, I really do feel with the run we've been on of late, a really inconsistent run of form, I don't know whether we're going to be able to keep pace with Barcelona or not, but we'll have to wait and see. Still, in the Copa del Rey, you saw that we've been drawn against Real Madrid, which isn't very good, but also I did decide to request some funds from the board. I asked for £3 million and told them I'd reach the knockout stages of the Champions League, because of course we've already done that, and they said they give us £1.7 million, so that's over half the valuation that we asked for, and we'll take it. Basically, at the end of the day, I only improved one aim, and that was to qualify for the knockout stage, which we've already done, so I don't really feel bad about taking that deal. But as you can see as well, I did decide to go into the pre-contract market. Now I searched for 6 players: Sergio Roberto, Ika Munian, let's see if I remember the other 4. You got Arribas, Danny Pacheco, Isco, and there's one other that I'm forgetting right now, but there were 6 players I approached on a pre-contract anyway, and you'll be able to see them all get offered contracts in this episode. And as you can tell by the title, one of these players does come in. Illaramendi, there's the other one. One of these players does come in, and it was a signing which was made by you guys on Twitter, so you'll see it in just a moment's time. But regardless, these were the 6 players I inquired for. They're all available. They all had their contracts up at the end of the year. They're all over the age of 22, so 23 plus, which means they can be signed on a pre-contract. So I put in bids for all of them, and we'll wait and see what they say. Also, Carlos Blanco says he wants a new contract, and to be honest, he'll probably get one. 22 years old, so far our only player in the club that's being capped for Spain. So, he's the only guy so far that's actually made it into the Spain squad, so he'll probably get a new contract, as he probably deserves one. And also, as you can see, the players we offer contracts to, 3 of them accepted: Illaramendi, Pacheco, and Isco. Roberto declined his, we gave him a new one, so did Munian, and as you'll see, Arribas accepted his. So we'll offer new contracts to those 2 players and wait and see what they say. Also, Ruben Blanco, transfer bids coming in for our goalkeeper, hardly a surprise. The guy's an absolute monster despite his relatively low overall, but he's going nowhere, got no plans to sell. Ruben Blanco is absolutely fantastic, and he is staying here. As you can see, we do offer new deals to those players out of the 6 who didn't like the first contract we offered, and we'll wait and see what they say. And as you can see, we also had another international management offer from Sweden, and of course we say no. So we're going through every single country on the game right now other than Spain, which is fantastic. And as you can see, Sergio Roberto then accepts his pre-contract, which is great. And as you'll finally see, a transfer offer comes in for Salas Marquez, third choice goalkeeper at the academy. Sabadell wanted for 90 grand, and we just say yes, we can make a profit on him after we sign sign him out of the academy. And as you can see as well, Ika Munian did accept his contract, which means that every single player out of those 6 players that were available to sign the pre-contract have now accepted their deals, which is fantastic. So one of these 6 players was going to join the club and join El Sardinero next season, come play for us at El Sardinero next season. Out of these 6 players, to be honest, I wasn't really fussed who were coming, but of course I think everyone knew who was going to run away with the poll. As you can see here, I threw it out to you guys on Twitter. I said 6 players are available to be signed on a pre-contract. You choose who we sign. I have a feeling one player is going to run away with it, but you never know. But it turns out one player did run away with it. As you can see, Isco won by a very, very big margin. So Isco is going to come and join the club, and I'm totally fine with that. I mean, Isco, I think, probably was the best signing out of all of those. Ika Munian would have been great because right now we've got Rodriguez on the right-hand side, and Paco Candela is a really good player for the future that plays first-choice left midfield, but of course Munian could play there and be a brilliant, first-choice player in that position with Paco Candela playing fringe games, the backup games, playing as part of the backup team, really, playing midweek games and Copa del Rey games and so on. But instead, you guys said Isco, and yeah, I think Isco probably was the best choice, to be honest. I really do. So Isco comes in, he'll join us on a free transfer next season, and yeah, again, thank you to everyone for voting in the poll. Again, it was a bit one-sided, which is quite funny, but thank you regardless for voting in the poll. Really do appreciate it. And as per usual, this is why you guys should follow me on Twitter. It's at @Clanders, so you guys can make some signings during the series and help improve the team. Why not? And we take on Real Madrid for the first and only game of today's episode here at El Sardinero in the Copa del Rey round of 16 first leg. Now, I have mentioned during this season I really do want to win another trophy alongside the Copa Europe, which we won at the start of the season. Of course, that's the Champions League winners versus the Europa League winners. We won it for the first time in the series at the start of the season, and I really would like another trophy to go along with it. Now, of course, in the league, that's it's one of my main aims this season. I really do want to have a good challenge for the league title, but the Copa del Rey realistically is probably the best competition for us to win, because I definitely feel as though we could probably pull off a shock, beat some of these big teams like we did a couple years ago on our way to winning the Copa del Rey for the first time. So Real Madrid come to El Sardinero, obviously going to be a very difficult game, and the first chance did fall to Real Madrid. Muller's shot was well saved by Pacheco, and as we failed to get the ball away, it fell to James Rodriguez, and Rodriguez was denied by a brilliant save by Ruben Blanco. So a couple of big saves there by a goalkeeper, and that second shot there, as you would have seen on the replay, did actually hit on the head, the top of the head of Ruben Blanco as he diverts it behind for a corner. So great save there by the goalkeeper, and still goalless. And from the corner it comes to Muller. Muller drills it in, Ronaldo goes for goal, and again Ruben Blanco makes a good save. So 8 minutes in, already 3 big saves by our goalkeeper, and a couple minutes later Real Madrid come forward again here with Luka Modric. The former Spurs man goes for goal, and his shot goes just wide of that far post and behind for a goal kick. So still goalless in the game, but Real Madrid already asserting their dominance early on in this game. But in the 14th minute, Ioza Perez finds Ronieri Aguza here, and Aguza keeps hold of the ball, plays it back inside towards Perez, gets past Pepe, shoots at goal, but it hits the post, and Real Madrid clear. So Perez almost giving us the opening goal in the game, but sadly it was still 0-0. And a few minutes later, again Real Madrid come forward with De Tomas going for the header. It's a great save by Ruben Blanco as he tips it onto the bar, and we get it away. So Blanco in fine form early on in this game. And in the 28th minute, again Real Madrid come forward with Luka Modric. Modric turns his man and finds De Tomas. He strikes it, but he can't hit the target, and it goes harmlessly wide and behind for a goal kick. So still 0-0 in this game, but so many opportunities for Real Madrid. We'd had one and hit the woodwork, but for the most part, it was all Real Madrid, and we really were struggling to contain them. But in the half an hour mark here, Ioza Perez comes forward, and another great chance for our striker. He turns the last man and shoots, but Casillas makes a very good stop and turns it behind for a corner. So still goalless in this game somehow, and neither side looked capable of breaking the deadlock. So still 0-0. In the 34th minute, though, Real Madrid come forward again with De Tomas getting on the ball down this right-hand side. Inside the penalty area, he turns his man and plays it inside towards Rodriguez, and again, it's Ruben Blanco making another brilliant save. Our goalkeeper in fine form from the corner, from the cross even, it's crossed in, and again, Falcao is denied by Ruben Blanco. What a game this goalkeeper was having, and as I've said many times before, even though his overall may appear to be quite low in, comparison to some goalkeepers who we possibly could buy if we spent the big bucks, he is just unreal some games, and in this game he was clearly showing it. So it was still 0-0 going into the break, and not much was happening in the second half until the 68th minute, when Paco Candela did finally break the deadlock for Racing Santander against the run of play, admittedly so. As you can see though, what a lovely goal this is. Dinks it over the defender, who slides in and then blasts it past Iker Casillas, who I think possibly could have done a better job there. Maybe I'm being a little bit too critical of the Real Madrid goalkeeper, but it was pretty much straight at him. Yes, the shot had power, but I would have expected a goalkeeper of Casillas' experience and his ability to be able to save that, but he didn't, and it's Racing Santander 1, Real Madrid 0, courtesy of Paco Candela. Della, so 1-0 to Racing. And as you can see, in the 73rd minute, it was still 1-0 to the home side. Real Madrid basically run out of steam after so many efforts in the first half. They look completely lost in the second half. And as you can see here, as the header goes up by Rana Delgado, it falls to Aguza, who heads it, trying to find the far corner, but Casillas does tip it over the bar for a corner. It's still 1-0, and from that corner, Aguza crosses the ball in, picks out Rana Delgado, and Delgado scores his first goal since September. He comes off the bench. It's been a long time coming, but finally Rana Delgado has another goal this season. It's been an awful long time. I know he's a bench player. I know he doesn't get too many minutes, but it's been ages since he last scored a goal. But he does score one here, makes it Racing 2, Real Madrid 0, and as you can see, this is how the game finishes. Unfortunately, I pressed X a little bit too quickly as the ball was going out of play, and I thought it was just going to be an animation for the goal kick. It was actually for full time, but even so, the final score was Racing Santander 2, Real Madrid 0. We get the first leg one, absolutely fantastic. It's going to be very difficult away at the Bernabeu, at least I'd expect so, but if my goalkeeper's on fire in that game, like he was in this one, it could be a very, very difficult game for Real Madrid and not for us. But that is going to end the episode, so as always guys, a big thank you for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the episode, then please leave a like, and I'll see you for the next episode of Club and Country very soon. Bye!